thanks for the opportunity to speak to you all today. I'm going to tell you about the current developments and impact project. Basically, it's a project that's to make the use of traditional herbal medicine safer in Malawi. I'm going to skip through the first few slides because of time constraints, but I'd like to just tell you that 80% of the population of Malawi routinely take herbal medicines for treatment of their illnesses. And currently there are no quality assurance mechanisms in place for traditional herbal medicines in Malawi, which means they can be toxic, ineffective, too potent, and really they can increase the risk of chronic disease and cancer in the long term. Now, I was going to skip this slide, but because of Matilda's presence in the room, I want to mention that this project would not have happened without Matilda. Matilda came to Strathclyde in January 2014, and Jamie as well invited me to speak to Matilda, and this is how this whole project came about. So this wouldn't have happened without Matilda. Thank you once more. Yeah, it's a quick project structure. The College of Medicine, University of Strathclyde, aided by the Forest Research Institute Malawi, Botanical Gardens Malawi, and the Traditional Healers Association. So, this project aims to improve the safety and efficacy of traditional herbal medicines in Malawi by 3 ways. Firstly, the development of a quality assurance programme for traditional herbal medicines at the College of Medicine. Secondly, the training and education of doctors and pharmacists in traditional herbal medicines, and knowledge exchange between traditional herbal healers and conventional medical professionals who up until this project didn't talk to each other. So what we've done to date, in November 2015 a visitor from Malawi came to do some training at the University of Strathclyde, and also in November myself and a colleague, Professor Sandy Gray, went to the College of Medicine to take some meetings and run some training workshops in spectroscopy and bioassay techniques. By July, August 2016, we were in year 2 and we had funding to buy some instrumentation and equipment necessary, and that was installed and initial training took place. Now, the knowledge exchange workshops between the traditional herbal healers, to date, well, until March 2017, we've run 12 workshops in many areas throughout Malawi. These workshops can each consist of 10 traditional healers plus 10 medical professionals from similar areas, and we actually tape and video these conversations, and it's to build knowledge exchange and trust between these people. Often until we bring them together, they have never actually spoken to each other. They work with patients in the same area, and if we build up some trust and communication, it's a very good positive thing. So, this is more recent developments. I was fortunate to visit Malawi in June, July this year to establish a cell culture and screening laboratory at the College of Medicine. The Scottish Government project funded some of the equipment, some of the larger equipment, such as the Class 2 cabinet and the CO2 incubator were already in situ, although we did come across several challenges when we were actually setting things up. Things had been cannibalised and things weren't working, and Class 2 cabinet looked as though it was being stored down a coal mine. So first we collided with clean. So after we'd overcome that, we got everything working, and we have got a functional cell culture screening laboratory. As far as I'm aware, it's the only cell culture laboratory in Malawi. So that's a first at the College of Medicine. Now, later, when the lab was functioning, I ran some workshops. And now, if I can just put this on while I'm talking. Oh, it's not available, right? Maybe YouTube is. Anyway, I'll just talk while this is happening. It may happen, it may not. I have a film of a, no. Okay, we'll not have the film then.
It will all be sent round, so
okay,
that we can put the link specifically in the minutes.
Okay. Right, okay, so I ran some workshops on tissue culture laboratory requirements, cell culture basics, and basic viability assay. and there was great interest within the community at College of Medicine and other sites. People came from all over. We had 9 men and 6 women who attended the workshops, and they were all very keen to learn about cell culture. At present, all the initial testing of safety is in animals, and you can imagine now with the current situation in the world, if you're applying for a grant, you will be far way down the list if you can't do some in vitro screening, because testing in animals is frowned upon now in many areas. So this facility increases the amount of funding the College of Medicine may be able to apply for. The monitoring and evaluation, as one has to do for the Scottish Government projects, was very positive for the tests. And here you can see a lovely young lady, Majova, who has picked up the cell culture techniques very well, and Ibrahim Chukovi, who is our administrator and course coordinator for the MSc in Traditional Herbal Medicine, which I'll tell you about shortly. Right, okay. So, when I leave Malawi, I want to leave something behind, because then people don't forget what to do. So I left them with standard operating procedures. So they will not forget what I've taught them. They have reference material to go back and look at, plus I'm only at the end of an email if they need to revise anything. So with these standard operating procedures, they will be able to continue the functioning of the cell culture laboratory by themselves. Now, this is just being organised at the moment. I have 2 colleagues, one from University of Strathclyde, John Goley, a phytochemist, and Dr. Darren Edwards, an analytical chemist. He was formerly at the University of Strathclyde, but he's run away to Dundee. But they're both going over to the College of Medicine to help establish an analytical chemistry laboratory adjacent to the cell culture laboratory. So we'll have everything we need to put in a quality assurance scheme for the traditional herbal medicines. They're going to run some training workshops as well. They're going to focus on natural product extraction, fractionation, and also analytical techniques, specifically HPLC. Now, I mentioned briefly the MSc in Traditional Herbal Medicine. Now, that is just awaiting approval by UNIMA. It's been held up slightly because the College of Medicine is dissolving from UNIMA, and it will be a university in its own right probably within about 5 years. So initially we thought our first intake of students would be this September, but now we think it will be January. So that's almost been completed successfully as well. One important thing about the Scottish Government projects is sustainability. Now, as a result of the Impact project, certainly we played a key role in the College of Medicine getting funding to set up a Centre of Excellence in Traditional Herbal Medicine and Public Health by the World Bank, and that resulted in funding of $6 million over 5 years. Therefore, the work we have started will be continuing for at least another 4 years, and probably longer, because the income from the MSc in Traditional Herbal Medicine will keep it sustainable for the future, I would think. So what have we learned so far? I've certainly found there's a very strong theoretical knowledge base in Malawi, but it's important to give people the opportunities to access equipment, instrumentation and applied training, so they can actually format that knowledge. Also, it's very important to have a sustainable managed programme for the cultivation of traditional herbal medicines, because that all has an impact on the plants and forests, and the environmental cycle involved energy, water and climate, so everything is connected. It's a cycle. You can certainly find out more information on this project at the Spider Science website on Strathclyde. Again, these slides will be circulated, so you'll be able to have all this information later. Now, I'd like to say Zikumo Kawambiri to all of you for listening, to the University of Strathclyde team, to all our team at the College of Medicine, to Matilda once again and Jamie, because this wouldn't have happened without them, And I'd like to invite you all to a lecture by Dr. Faniel Lampire from Malawi, who is visiting Scotland the end of September and the beginning of October. If you can't make this particular date, contact me, we'll be able to fit you in, because Fanny will be up at the UFR conference in Aberdeen at the end of September. And we still have, I think Thursday, I think it's the 4th of October. Thursday the 5th of October free to fit in some meetings. Again, this is to arrange, as David was saying, future collaborations for future funding opportunities. And we already have interest from RGU and the University of Dundee, so I certainly think it would be worthwhile other people coming to talk to Dr. Van Lampau and myself. So please put this in your diary. Thank you very much for your attention.